am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Listen, I'll be jamming to that. Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome to another episode of Inspire. I'm so excited that you are here. I see you coming in. Hey, Chuck Hunt. Hey, Sissy. Hey, Tanya. Jackson. Hey, listen. Hey, Jackson. Jackson is my one of my colleagues, my student colleagues here at MTS. So y'all know I don't move to Ohio, y'all. I don't move to Ohio. And so, Jackson, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm so excited. That all of you are here. Listen, do me a big favor. Share it on your networks. Tell somebody, come on in. We're about to learn about a Just Harvest today, okay? And so I'm excited about it. I can't wait to have my dear sister, hey, Naquita. Can't wait to have my dear sister come on and talk all about a Just Harvest and her life. She wears many hats, y'all. She wears many hats. And so we want to learn all about her and the incredible work that is happening with a Just Harvest. If you just stumbled upon this broadcast, you don't know what the heck it's about and who the hell I am. I am Sue A. Webley. I am your host. I am a number of things. Depending on where you met me, I might just be Sue. I might be Pastor Sue, Reverend Sue. Listen, I might be a workshop facilitator. I'm Jamaican, okay? We have 10 jobs. I got to do it all. You know how listen, we can't just do one thing. And it is my intention to not leave this place with anything left in me. And so I'm going to do everything that the divine has created for me to do. But I am the founder of Cara Solutions LLC, which is a full digital service agency that helps individuals and organizations navigate the virtual space with confidence. I've been doing that since 2020, and I am just so grateful for some of the amazing organizations and individuals that I've been able to partner and journey with over the last few years. Inspire is a live interview style broadcast on a mission. We're on a mission to encourage, empower, and embolden individuals to create change in their personal lives, their communities, and in the world. And as our guests, entrepreneurs, influencers, creatives, and others share their testimonies, tips, and tools with us. We hope that you are inspired to elevate your mindset, to pursue your dreams, and to do, as the late Dr. Katie Geneva Cannon put it so eloquently, the work that your soul must have. Right now, we are live on Facebook. We're live on LinkedIn and live on YouTube. But I do want you to do it. Hey, Patrice. Hey, Dawn Cedric. Listen, the people. Okay. Minister Sandy. Hey, Shakira. Listen, the people are coming in. Let's do me a favor and share. But I want you to not only share, but I want you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. We're at 2 places on social media. We're at Cara Solutions LLC on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're at Inspired by Cara on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, you can head over to our websites at www.cara-solutions.com. Cara-solutions. Don't forget that hyphen in the middle, or you can head over to www.getinspired.live to find out all about Cara Solutions, and about Inspire. Also, you can listen later. We're on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. We're Inspired by Cara and all of those platforms. So if you want to catch up on any of our previous episodes, or you just want to kind of take it with you, want to travel with it, do me a big favor. Head over to Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and follow us at Inspired by Cara. Listen, y'all, okay, so let me take this off. I need y'all to follow me. I have goals, right? I need you to follow. It don't take a lot to follow. It don't cost you anything, right? It doesn't cost a thing for you to follow me, to follow me, follow Cara Solutions, or follow Inspire on social media or on all those podcasting platforms, right? It helps to elevate the numbers so that I could go after sponsorships. Somebody say I want some sponsorships, okay? So help a sister out. Help a sister out and follow me. Y'all know I'm gonna ask what you're sipping on. So before I do that, I just want to introduce my co-host today. This is Puddles. So StreamYard sent me Puddles. So anybody use StreamYard, you know that this is the StreamYard mascot. And so Puddles is hanging out with me today, and they also sent me a cup, which I'm using today. Thank you, StreamYard. And it says go live. And y'all know I have coffee in my cup. Coffee I'm drinking today is mushroom coffee. Y'all need to get on it. So let me take a sip. What are you sipping on today? Is it water? Is it tea? Is it coffee? Is it orange juice? Is it apple juice? Is it a smoothie? What is it? Is it water? Listen, is there something stronger? You got a little something strong in your cup? I ain't judging you. Listen, you got a mimosa? What you got in your cup this morning? Go ahead and shout that out. Shout out what you're sipping on. Shout out where you are watching from. And yeah, we're going to get ready to get into our conversation this morning. Chuck Hunt is calling from watching from Monroe, Louisiana. Thank you, Chuck. So you came after calling into a sports talk show discussing college football with the host. I love that. Let me tell you something about Chuck. Chuck shows up to everything. Brother, listen, you support from the rooter to the tutor. You show up to everything, and we are so appreciative that you do that. Anything that it's beyond the gatekeepers and all the other things. Sunday morning service at the river. Listen, everywhere I go on there's a live stream, I see Chuck, and Chuck has just been such a support. My daughter is on. Hey, Jazz. Coffee. Oh, you got some coffee in your cup, and you are watching from your job. Sissy has good old dark roast coffee with caramel almond creamer. Yes, green tea. Dawn Shedrick is drinking green tea. Yes, I will. You know what? I'm gonna I'll post the mushroom coffee that I drink. And actually, my sibling Renier Amin put me onto this coffee. I'll post the link. I got it from Amazon. Listen, it's $18. It is $18 for the little pack of coffee. Okay, but it's so good, and it gives you such a boost of energy. And so it's like it's woody, it's earthy, it's so good. It almost puts you in the mind of chocolate. And if you know me, you know I love me some chocolate. So yeah, I'll definitely put that post in the chat for you guys for the mushroom coffee. Let's see. The Queen, are you drinking your coffee, and what you got? What are you drinking? Patrice, what are you drinking this morning? What's in your cup? Minister Sandy. Sipping on some water. Yes, and you, Minister Sandy, listen, let me tell you about Minister Sandy is like Chuck Hunt. Minister Sandy will show up to everything, and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for all of y'all. Listen, Inspire would not exist. We couldn't do what we do without you, and I am so appreciative that all of you, whether it's on the East Coast, the Central Time Zone, or on the West Coast, listen, that you show up on a Saturday morning, because you could be in bed chilling. And some of you probably in bed chilling watching, and that's okay. We're going to get, I am Queen B. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're getting ready to get into our introduction. I'm so excited about our guest today. And I just realized, listen, I'm going to put this other thing back up because I just realized I didn't do an introduction graphic, but that's okay. We're going to put this back up. Y'all know who it is, all right? Reverend Dr. Marilyn Pagán-Banks, Executive Director of A Just Harvest. And I'm going to read a little bit about her. She is the Executive Director of A Just Harvest with nearly 2 decades of dedicated service at the helm of this influential organization. Reverend Marilyn has been instrumental in leading A Just Harvest's mission to combat poverty and hunger in the Rogers Park and Greater Chicago community. Her tireless efforts have not only ensured the provision of daily nutritious meals, but have also extended into vital advocacy, outreach, and community organizing, as well as community and economic development initiatives that address the root causes of hunger. Reverend Marilyn is not only a dynamic leader, but also a compassionate and visionary force for change. Her commitment to cultivating community power through initiatives like Northside Power has made a significant impact on creating a more just society that transcends racial, cultural, and socio-economic boundaries. As an ordained pastor in the United Church of Christ, an adjunct professor at McCormick Theological Seminary and Garrett Theological Seminary, and a joyful contributor to Words of Her Mouth, Psalms for the Struggle, she brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to our conversation today. And additionally, her dedication to yoga, writing, dance, and her grandkids speaks to her multifaceted and vibrant personality. She is definitely multifaceted and vibrant. And so as we prepare to meet her, to talk with her, to learn about the incredible work that A Just Harvest is doing ahead of its 40th anniversary celebration that's taking place, concert and celebration that's taking place tomorrow. Let's take a look at, I had to pull a video from the website, right? So let's take a look at a video that I pulled from A Just Harvest website that talks about we are all community.
Supposed to be my lunch, but
you didn't have lunch here? You could have lunch here.
you know what? I didn't want to take food away.
Oh,
from
don't
the
ever
community.
say that. There's always enough. We are the community.
That's right.
There's always enough. And there's nothing more dignified than people seeing everybody eating the same thing.
Yeah, but I'm a big dude. I can eat.
We're not going to give you more than we give somebody else. I'm Marilyn Pagán-Banks, Executive Director of A Just Harvest. I have been with the organization for 20 years. October 1st made 20 years, and it has been amazing.
Hello, my name is Miriam Perez, and I have been with A Just Harvest for over a year and a couple months. And 3 things that you may not know about me is that I'm a mother of 2 boys. I love my cat, and I love pizza. Well, Marilyn is a boss. I think she walks in here like a boss every day, and when you see her out in the field and we're doing our events, she, even when, there's nothing that silences her, and that's just like very inspiring to see a woman in power. And it's just, it's something that I wish to be one day, and just seeing her in that position is just very inspiring.
There's a joke, they call me boss lady. I just got a boss lady tattooed on my arm. But it's more around the love and the joking around, and not because I'm trying to be a boss and treat people like, like they're clocking in and out and they need to produce and all that. But really think about how together we have to be well. We have to love on one another. We got to look out for one another, see one another, and also model what we say we want for the community.
My name is Christoph Ringer. I've been with A Just Harvest for 6 years. When I think of Marilyn, I think of someone who is compassionate, very compassionate as it relates to the kinds of issues that we work on. But more importantly, really, she has a real heart for the community. She's invested in the community. She's also fierce. She is very bold, and you always get a sense of her own authenticity, right? Kind of what you see is what you get.
Thinking about what attracted me to A Just Harvest, I have to laugh and say nothing initially, other than wanting to be in community, but the idea of working in the kitchen and struggling with the free stuff from the people who have more stuff and the people who don't have enough or maybe do but don't know how to. It was just, I was conflicted, right? And so the organizer in me was like, I don't want to deal with that. Even though I understood as a Christian in me that we have to tend to those who have needs and give them what they need. So there was some tension. So I wasn't necessarily attracted to the position, even though I was on the board and very much was engaged in the organization and wanted to see it succeed. So yeah, attraction is a strange word, but God does what God does, and so being drawn to it. And so initially when I was invited to apply, first of all, I didn't believe I could do it. And secondly, I didn't want to do it. I thought I didn't want to do it for the things I just said. But then a year later, again, I'm still on the board. I'm helping with the structuring and all that. And a couple members of the board, and I was working at the church too, were like, Pastor Marilyn, you're going to pass up your blessing. Because I was feeling called to leave where I was and didn't know where I would go. And I was associate pastor at the church, and it just seemed to make sense. But again, in that moment, it was like, yes, we're more committed to organizing, to putting ourselves out of business. I can do that, right? As I begin to even learn more about what it means to serve and all that. And so I applied and thought I'd be here for maybe 4 or 5 years because my kids were in high school. And here I am. And grateful that I didn't pass up my blessing. My very first vision, and again, it came out of those conversations with board members who also had a commitment towards addressing the systemic issues, changing why people were hungry in the richest country in the world, right? So my very first vision statement was, we're gonna work until all have plenty and no one is left in need.
Till all have plenty. Work until all have plenty and no one is left in need. What a fabulous undertaking. And we're so grateful for you and for the work that A Just Harvest is doing. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Buenos dias. Thank you, my sister, for having me this morning.
Yes. So, the first thing I got to ask is what's in your cup? What are you sipping on?
I am drinking some coffee with coconut milk in my Wonder Woman mug so I can feel a little strong today.
I love it. I don't think I've ever had coconut milk in my coffee. I have to try that. Usually I'll do like an almond creamer or almond milk, but I haven't had the coconut, so I'm gonna try that.
We moved from almond to coconut. It's
Okay.
a little thin, it's a little thinner, but it's better for me still. I don't know why, but
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that. Thank you so much. So let's get right into our conversation this morning. So we watched the video and it had so much good information, not only about you, but about A Just Harvest. But can you tell us a little bit more about the mission of the organization and how has it evolved over the past 40 years? Well, over the past 40 years, but more specifically over it's 21 years now. Yeah.
yes.
Executive director.
So thank you for that question. The organization was feeding for 20 years when I got there, or entering its 20th year. As a ministry of Good News Community Church, giving them a little shout out. Reverend Kim Shelton is the pastor. And by the way, I also want you to say hello to Dean Valerie Bridgman for me, please.
Yes.
MTSO. I'm so glad that you're there with her. That work was happening. It was happening in partnership with lots of other folks, and it was going well, right? But again, with this commitment to do more and to begin to ask the question of why are we still doing this after 20 years? Not around sustainability, because the issue of being able to do it while it's needed was important, but the why is it still needed question needed to be answered. And so over the next 20 years, we've been working at answering that question and addressing the things that come up when we ask, right? So, for example, one of the first things we started organizing around, it was really, the kids in the community were part of a park, and we were helping to bring them together, and there was no water access or bathroom access in the park. There were water fountains, but they weren't turned on, right? So one of our very first sort of organizing issues was working with kids and families to get water and bathroom access in the park. Just again to show them and to show ourselves that we're committed to the community, and if we want change, then we have to be part of that. And we can't be treated just any old kind of way, right? So it began with just simply having conversations and deepening our relationships in community. So we went from organizing and continue to do that, but also realizing that's such long haul work, right? Changing systems takes a long time. This stuff has been around. It was created intentionally. It's going, unless we have a revolution and blow it up, it's going to take a minute. And folks don't have a minute. They need to work now. They need to eat now. They need to go to the doctor, all the things, right? And so we began to answer the question of, oh, you want me to come to your meeting, and I want to come, but I need a job. You don't give me a job? Right. And so we began to answer that question by doing community and economic development in the ways that we could, which for us is urban agriculture. We did some aquaponics work, stuff like that. And again, trying to be responsive to what we're hearing from community and not pretending to have all the answers. Right. And in that work, realizing, yes, we can provide some jobs through our work, but can people get to work if they don't have the support that they need? Right. Somebody at home needs childcare or elder care. They need to go to the doctor. All kinds of things that we think, people assume it's about laziness or willingness when there's so many things, right? So we realized the wellness of the community is really important to be paying attention to. And I'm so grateful that we started talking about this and moving into this work before COVID. Yeah. And so it gave us a little edge, I think, and a little jump start to be able to be in place and continue to work during COVID, right? And learn from it. So that's sort of been the flow in a very general sense, the last 20 something years, in partnership, in collaboration with folks both locally. We have some national partners that we work with, because there's nothing, we're not even going to act like we can do anything by ourselves. We just can't. Nor do we want to, right? Nor do we want to. So yeah.
Right. I love that you brought up collaboration, because you absolutely need to connect to other individuals, to other organizations, to faith-based institutions, and all of these institutions that are working in the community in order to get the work done. We are not islands unto ourselves. We are built for relationship.
Yes.
Right? And
that's
so,
right.
So anybody out there thinking that you can do what you're doing all alone? Nope.
Listen, Audre Lorde wrote, without community, there is no liberation.
Yeah. And in that instance, the song comes to mind that we, like, I need you to survive.
Yes.
We definitely need each other to survive. Thank you so much for what you've already shared. What are the 3 comprehensive strategies that A Just Harvest utilizes to combat poverty and hunger in the community?
So I think what makes us pretty unique is the fact that we do provide direct service, that meal, the pantry work, and actually other things as well through the wellness things that we do. But we also do the community organizing. We were part of the community, the Chicago Coalition to End Money Bond. We were one of the very first organizations at the table, figuring out a strategy around how to bring this new legislation to pass, and it did. The Pre-Child Fairness Act passed in Illinois. So, and we helped pass when we work for Fight for 15 and other things like that, Ban the Box, all these things that keep people hungry and poor, right? There's such a connection, especially mass incarceration and detention and all those things. And then the other strategy, again, is community and economic development. And not that we have to build it and create it, but what's been really wonderful is to create the space and the opportunity for the community to bear their gifts and vision and idea. And for us to figure out a way to partner again with others to resource those visions and those gifts. Our folk are brilliant, right? Poor folk, it's not a matter of ability or vision or entrepreneurship, it's resource and opportunity, right? Those things are blocked every which way. And so we're working on that. Those are the 3 comprehensive strategies that we use. They're interconnected. There's no hierarchy.
Right.
You know, I've had to sort of struggle with the idea that be careful what you do. We don't want to risk the kitchen. And yes, I never want anyone to go hungry because I made a bad decision or I did something that was politically ridiculous, right? But I don't want to ever focus or operate in a way that's just about protecting an institution that we are.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
want to be part of the nonprofit industrial complex, right? And so, yes, we want to be here and ready for people who are hungry, but that does not give us permission to not fight for equity and especially economic justice in this city and in this world, this country and this world. And the wellness piece of it, even though we're really centering some of that work, is not an added component. It's weaved throughout all of it, right? We have folk on our team that are there to not only provide listening and space for those we work with,
Right.
but for us who are doing the work, right?
Yes.
Because collectively, again, as I said in the video, we all have to be well. This has been a tough year for me. With my mental health, with my emotional health, my physical health. And so to know that there's a team and that we're operating together, that there are people who are concerned about me, keeps me in it, right? And I hope that how we're relating as a community, as an organization in community, that we're also being that for others.
Yes. And so I came across you guys are currently in the wellness. You have a wellness campaign going on right now on social media. So after this, head over to Just Harvest. You could, if you're watching from Facebook, or you could see them on Instagram. There's a wellness campaign going on, and I love the fact that that it's not just in house. Like you're really being intentional about sharing this wellness wisdom with the world. Can you tell us a little bit about that wellness campaign that you have going on right now?
So what we're doing now with our 40th anniversary is really celebrating the fact that we are grounded in a legacy of love, but that we have a vision of wellness. So like we're operating out of a space of, and wellness, again, is not just about whether you're going to the doctor. Somebody tried to translate the word healing as being cured. And I have to go back and say, no, healing in Spanish is not about being cured. Healing in Spanish is about being whole, right? And so that's our commitment. So that when we talk about healing work, we're talking about how do we use the things that we're growing in our gardens to be medicine, and have workshops around that, right? How do we hear from folks coming into our city about what needs to be grown and what works in community, so that we're making space for that wisdom to come in, because we don't have all of the answers. And that's the beauty of it, is it's really about creating the space for things to arise in community, but also for others who are doing the work to come into from where they're at to be with community here. You know what I'm saying? So our wellness center has a clearing room, and that's where we have circles and we do art and we have groups in there. And then there's an Ashe room, and there's entrepreneurship happening there, but there's also workshops and one-on-one sessions with the therapist who's using space. We have a kitchen cafe, a learning cafe, teaching cafe that we're going to open up soon once we get a commercial license.
Yeah.
So that each day it's a different person who's wanting to start their own business, doing their thing, so let's say, for example, I'm going to use Mama T as an example. Let's say Monday's Mama T day. So that on that day, if you love Mama T's cooking, you're going to order lunch that day, right? And each day is going to be somebody new. So just create some possibility. And so wellness isn't just about, when we think about someone who is sick or, broken, but about having the space to dream, right?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And someone who's interested in resourcing your dream. I don't have a penny to give anybody, but I get excited and want to connect folks to other people who may have some resources, right? Or talk to people who might have money and say, hey, there's all this happening. How can we partner?
Yeah.
How can you invest? How can we invest together in this work? And so that wellness campaign really is about a holistic wellness in a community that has been disinvested in. Where we're located is a beautiful community. Rogers Park is awesome. I love living here. I love being by the lake. But the block where we're on, you can feel sort of the energy that shifts when you go from Howard Street north right there. And so we want to be part of an energy that says we love our block. We want to be part of its development for us and by us. And we want to claim our African Caribbean diasporic collective culture. So, I'm all about trying to build up have folks see the possibility so we can build some power around it. Otherwise, we just get pushed away. And then, stories are told about us that aren't true. And then we're not well. Then we operate out of a sense of, dis-ease, right?
Yeah.
And it becomes like that. I'm trying to remember who wrote the poem, but about what happens to a dream deferred. Was that Langston Hughes?
I believe it was.
And, and so he even talks about it rotting, right? And so, there is something that if we don't allow people to begin to see their dreams in the flesh in some ways, then we're adding to their inner rotting. And that's just like, oh, I don't want to be part of that.
Yeah. Wow. This concept of a dream being connected to wellness. So that quote is, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Whew. So this concept of connecting the dream to wellness, I'm just so blown away by that, because often when you think about wellness, you don't go all the way back. You don't think about, you see what's right in front of you. This person is hungry. This person may be unwell in body, right? This person may be unwell, mentally or emotionally, and you kind of try to address those areas. But the dream, that's gonna stay with me. I'm just so blown away by the way that you've connected dreaming to wellness. Let's see. Yes, Tanya says, I love your vision and your care for community. Jackson says, I love how healing translates in Spanish. Chuck says, no one should ever go hungry. Yeah, this is such a good, goodness. I'm just so excited. I was like,
but let me tell you, it was your question that pulled this out of me, because I hadn't quite articulated it that way before, right? I'm a outside processor, and I've been spending a whole lot of time alone, so that's kind of not helping. And so but I appreciate it because you kind of helped pull it out, because again, I come at this as a mother of children who are on the other side of 35 now, who have taught me to love more, right? And also have been part of a community now that is also part of our work, which is trying to end the violence here. And so when you think about people who refer to young folks as rotten, no good, I mean, it's that dead dream. It's that rotting vision. It's that imagination that wasn't given any space to even grow before it just, died in the soil, right? And so I refuse to believe that. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. One, because those are my babies, and I got to believe that there's possibility to the very end for them, right? And that their dreams are God's dreams for them and for us. But so thank you. Your question around wellness helped me sort of bring that out in a way I hadn't been able to do. So thanks.
You're very welcome. So you talked about the cultural aspects and socioeconomic a little bit in your responses. What role does cross-cultural and cross-socioeconomic organizing play in Just Harvest mission? And can you elaborate on some of the challenges and successes that you've encountered in this aspect?
So as I mentioned, we have been doing soup kitchen, which we don't use that term anymore, work for 20 years when I got there, in partnership with wonderful, mostly congregations, mostly Christian, but not all, some small businesses and community organizations. And many of them from the North Shore of Chicago. So we were founded at Good News Community Church in partnership with a couple of churches from the North Shore who helped to fund the work, right? And so that partnership has always been there, and it's amazing. It's amazing. But when I got there, of course, the organizer and me and the organizers that were part of the board, wanting to begin to, ask the hard questions, the first thing we would get from people is, well, why are you talking to rich people? Why are you trying to organize over there? There was this kind of idea that you organize the community that's impacted, which I do think is important, right? But my response was, we do it because poverty is not a poor person's problem. It's a societal problem. Yes. And if we want to affect poverty, we need to talk to those with means and those without, and we need to collectively figure out a solution. Yeah. And that's why we started organizing in that way and really being intentional about it, like intentional, because folks, if you want to change policy, you got to talk to different legislators. And for one example I'll give you, we were working on the mortgage foreclosure campaign when, 2007, 2008, when the housing crisis and all that. There was money we were trying to get passed in the county board to help people stay in their homes, to provide education, to resources so people wouldn't lose their homes in the community. And we needed to have, we needed it to pass. And so we started talking to legislators in the North Shore. And we thought we were going to get a hard time, for example, from this one person near Glenview. And he got it right away because he also understood people losing their homes here is nobody wants to lose their home, whether you're in Glenview, Chicago, Country Club Hills, wherever you're at, nobody wants to lose their home. It was a no-brainer. But if we didn't have those relationships with the people who were in his district, we wouldn't have got the meeting. We wouldn't have got the conversation, right? So that's why those kinds of cross-cultural things are so important. Now, as someone who is part of the African, Puerto Rican diaspora, we also have to put a stop to this whole wedging of our communities, around resourcing. And so if we don't build power together, those with the power continue to put these carrot sticks between us and cause us to fight. We got to stop fighting. Yeah. We're losing so much time and there's just so much harm happening while we're fighting each other instead of fighting the powers that be. right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's why this work is so important, and getting people to understand. And so I've had challenges. I've had people send me notes and say, I'm never going to give again. You need to stay in your lane. You know, when I talked about how during COVID, resilience was being weaponized, you know, and people, all this, oh, people are so resilient, rather than trying to really stop the harm that people were experiencing. Like, that's all I was trying to address, you know. And he got upset about it and told me to stay in my lane. And, you know, so I've had people who don't appreciate or understand the work of service in connection to these other strategies, and that they have to go together. Because otherwise, you know, when Jesus said the poor will always be with you, it wasn't like he was saying so y'all can chill. It was
Right.
actually a judgment, because the system was what it was. And if we were not willing to disrupt the system
Whew.
and dismantle the system, then yes, the poor will always be with you.
Yes.
And we can't be okay with that. Jesus wasn't okay with that. And so that's the other thing I would tell people. I even had somebody call me when we changed our name from Good News Kitchen to A Just Harvest. Just, that sounds like you're going to start doing justice work. What did Jesus have to do with that? I had somebody ask me that, Reverend Sue.
Oh.
And I was on the phone and I just took a breath and I smiled so that they can feel it in my voice. And I said, thank you for asking that. I've been having these conversations, and I said, Jesus fed the hungry, but Jesus also spoke out against the systems and principalities that kept people hungry and poor. I said, that's what got him crucified, not feeding hungry people. And then he was like, oh, so I think there's, you know, pushing it even when it's uncomfortable. There, people get it, right?
Yeah.
And I've also learned a whole lot myself about my own biases against people with money, or, you know, white folks and different things around church, you know, stuff like that. And some things are, you know, founded in some truth in history, right? But also a willingness to be open to the experiences that we both have as we're trying to really, like, authentically, you know, do this work together. Not out of this kind of, let me get something from you. And I mean, I'll ask people for money. I ain't got no shame about that.
Right.
I'm not begging. I'm saying this is an investment. We're doing this work together. You have the resources and we're going to do the work. And that's how we trade off, right? Stuff, you know, conversation, relationship, like we said earlier.
Yeah. Ooh, building power together, and Jesus and justice. I often say you can't say you follow Jesus. Jesus was a social justice warrior. I don't understand how there's so many, you know, many folk that want to separate the justice aspect from Jesus. You cannot claim Jesus and not and be against everything social justice oriented, right? You can't, and you also cannot pick and choose social justice initiatives like you do in scripture. You can't cherry pick them. That's a whole nother conversation. So appreciative of all that you have shared so far. If you just joining us, you are watching Inspire with our amazing guest, the Reverend Dr. Marilyn Pagán-Banks. She is the executive director of A Just Harvest. And if you have any questions at all, please post them. If you have any questions for Reverend Marilyn, please post them. Chuck says this is the reason why it is bothersome to see people who sit in church on Sundays or other times praising, but eat the best of foods after service when someone in need shows up. Sorry, those in need are likely denied a meal, which these churches are likely to call the police on these people. That can turn into an ugly situation. And that's so unfortunate. That's unfortunate, Chuck, but it happens. It also happens, you know, as an aside, it also happens that if you don't look the part, if you're not dressed right, I have seen it firsthand. If you don't, some of these churches where they want the women to wear dresses, I have seen a church refuse to feed a woman because she had pants on. You don't know if that's the only thing she had in her closet.
That's right. Listen, that's what I love about us. You can walk up, You, Reverend Sue, right now can pull up. I don't know what kind of car you got, but I tell people right now, you could roll up in your Lexus, park your car, and come in and get a meal, and no one will ask you any questions. We are not based on no need. You don't have to prove nothing. All we do is ask your name. We do ask a few demographics so that we can keep trying to keep some funding coming in, but no proof of need, no proof of zip code. You can come from, I don't care. We've had people come from Blue Island. We've had people, because we're right there at the red line, at the hub for the northern suburb buses and all that. So we welcome anybody. We don't care, as long as you don't come in trying to fight nobody, cut nobody. You know, you're welcome to come in, because that's what community is. That's why we call ourselves a community kitchen. We
Yeah.
have students from our university communities that come and eat because they need to eat. And again, I love that you said that. It's not, you know, you never know. You never know, because you can't base it on what somebody looks like, what they got on, what you don't know what somebody's been through. And I thank God that we haven't had to turn anybody away for a meal. I thank God that, you know, we haven't run out of food, and things are tough now. Again, around this wellness, even in the world, because of this war and other things happening, access to food and the change supplies and all those things are making it difficult, believe it or not, to even get things that we need to feed the community. And even our partners are struggling to be able to continue to support in that way. So just to say, we love the work, we're doing the work, but it's a whole hustle keeping that work going every single day.
Yeah.
And we're grateful for we're grateful for the partnerships, because I don't know where we would be if we didn't have them.
Mm, mm. What is in the 40, you know, you get ready to celebrate tomorrow, the concert and celebration for 40 years of service of a Just Harvest. What, since your tenure, what has been the one thing? I know that I'm sure there's many, but what has been one thing that you have been most proud of so far?
I'm thinking the wellness work that we're doing, because it is addressing violence in the community, harm in the community, but also the genius and the brilliance in community. We're trying to be community centered, not trauma centered. We're not focusing on what's wrong, but what are the possibilities, while making space for healing, right?
Mm,
So that's
yeah.
the part I'm most proud of, as we're connecting that to hands in the soil and claiming ourselves good as God did in Genesis, as we're making connections across the ocean to Puerto Rico, where I'm buying a farm and I'm hoping to do retreats across the ocean, cross culturally, again, to heal that brokenness that happens in the diasporic journey, right? So that we can build that power, but also rebuild that ancestral connection that we have, and that royalty that we have with each other. I'm claiming that, and I'm claiming it's going to happen. And again, some people don't get it. Why is that so big? Why does it have to be so much? Because these people, my people, our community deserve it. And God
Yes.
wants it for us,
Yeah.
right? God wants it for us. And so, yeah, that's what I'm most excited about in this next phase of our work. And that also includes doing Freedom School work. We did a Freedom School program this summer. I want to give a shout out to the Community Renewal Society for helping support that work. We paid young people to help begin to build it so that it's centered around their ideas and desires. As long as there's literacy and culture in it, we were like, go ahead and let's dream. And so that work, again, is exciting, because I think the community needs to see their dreams come true,
Yeah.
especially in these days, especially when you don't even know what's going to be here years down for our children.
Yeah. 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 So you pour out so much. You know, you wear multiple hats and you pour out so much, and we're talking a lot about wellness. So let's talk about your wellness in particular. What role does self-care play for you in preventing burnout and maintaining passion for your work, because to do this type of work, to do the work of community takes incredible passion, right?
Yes.
Often it is a thankless job, right? And it's not the most lucrative at times, right? So what role does self-care play in preventing burnout and maintaining your passion? And what practices do you find most effective for you in maintaining your overall well-being?
So I'm not great at it. But I will say that COVID and this opportunity to sort of work remotely has taught me to slow down and to create a rhythm that is good for me. And so my self-care has looked like not saying yes to everything. Again, having a wonderful team that's capable and passionate too. And so they take on more and more. Um, and leaving my camera off during during most Zoom meetings, because it's like, y'all don't need to see me. I'm tired. I don't, you don't need to see me. But I have a daily devotion ritual with the church in Puerto Rico. I listen to them on Facebook. I do yoga mostly by myself, but I am committed to doing that in community. So as we're setting up the schedule at the Wellness Center, I'll be offering yoga there. But that's been really good for me. Music is always a way to heal my heart. Sometimes I'll just sit and listen to music and cry just because I need to release whatever's happening so I can go through the day, and spending time with my grandbabies. They heal my soul and they make me laugh. And again, they remind me, for me, children are God's promise that dreams are yet possible, because why would they continue? Why would God continue to bless us with these beautiful babies if there wasn't something else possible, right? And so, and therapy, let me not forget therapy, right?
Come on, therapy.
Let me not forget therapy. I have a coach that I'm working with. Again, it's not been, when I say I'm not that great at it, sometimes I'll cancel things, and I'm still working with the imposter syndrome and those kinds of things. But trusting, more and more trusting what God is doing in me. Like, who am I to say that God is doing something wrong or imperfect? Even though I don't believe God requires perfection, but God's work is perfect, right? So I'm just being willing to ask myself those questions, and I think finding my softer self, listening to the video, Marilyn's bad, Marilyn's fierce, and she won't let anybody silence her. This last year or so, I have felt a little more silenced, but it's been more self imposed. But it's because I'm connecting with a part of me that I think had gotten lost in the work, in the busyness, right?
Wow.
So.
Wow. Getting lost in the busyness of the work. It's so easy to do, isn't it?
Yes.
Easy to do. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that, for your transparency. We've talked about dreams, right? So what is your dream as a Just Harvest moves forward from this 40th year anniversary? What are your dreams for a Just Harvest, and also for yourself?
Well, our vision from the very beginning, since I've been there, is to put ourselves out of business as a service organization, that we not be comfortable as part of the nonprofit industrial complex, that we're going to be there as long as we're needed, but we're not going to perpetuate our own existence, right? And so somebody said, well, why raise money? Why build out a new space? I said, because that space belongs to the community. So if it's not going to be a kitchen anymore, it'll become something else that the community wants and deserves, right? So that is my dream for the organization, is that we continue on that path, that we continue to grow as a community-centered organization. And I think for myself, we're also in this year, I think, of discernment of what's next for both of us. Like I really feel like it's time for me to think about succession planning, and I have been, but like really intentionally hire somebody to walk us through that or whatever. So that this next iteration that I mentioned that takes people to Puerto Rico, I can focus on that part, right?
Yeah.
And the on the ground stuff that as we are still here and still needed, someone else could focus on, or others in community can keep the work going. So yeah.
How can we support you in the Just Harvest and the work that you're doing?
We always need resources. We love ideas and we love volunteers. And so please go and check us out on our website, ajustharvest.org. And there's lots of ways for you to connect. Again, we have this free, wonderful anniversary celebration tomorrow. And we wanted to do this to say thank you to the many partners that have supported us. But that does not mean that your donations won't be appreciated and needed and put to work. So please go ahead and visit our website and join us in this work today.
Wonderful, wonderful. I've placed the website in the chat, so please,
Thank
everyone,
you.
and click on that website and go and support at Just Harvest. And if you live in Chicago and you can get there, what's the address for tomorrow?
I don't know the address. It's First Congregational Church of Evanston.
Okay.
Yes, it's on Hinman, but I don't know the address by heart.
Okay, well, it's fine. Listen,
And a
if
shout
you
out to
go
them for hosting us tomorrow too.
Oh yeah, shout out. If you head over to the website, actually I'm gonna place that link in the chat right now so you can see the graphic for tomorrow. It's free, it's a concert, it's a celebration. Going out and listen, go and have a good time while supporting the work that this amazing organization is doing. Thank you so much.
I meant to show you my t-shirt too.
Yeah, come on, I see the t-shirt.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention the other thing over this journey of these 40 years that we become more and more queer, meaning, it's a wonderful thing. So my shirt says "Chatted with God." They're queer, y'all.
Wait, I'm taking this off because we want. Let's see.
Let me see.
There it is.
Like my little shorts on. It's like, let me just show the shirt.
Don't be showing too much now.
Lord have mercy. See what happens when you forget. Oh.
Well, a lot of people did that, especially during the pandemic.
Yes. And it's just so important to say that because we're radically inclusive, and just believe in the gifts of the community. And for us, for me to speak in my language, when you're queering things, it's about expanding them, opening them up, and then just making them a lot more beautiful and joyful and authentic and, all the magic that we bring into the work. And so I'm just excited about that and really committed to being Black led, right? Our board chair is Black. I mean, because if we're going to be building power, the folk got to see that it's actually taking place.
Yeah. And the folk have to see themselves.
Yes.
The organization that's doing the work with them, not just for them, but also with them.
Yes.
Thank you again, my dear sister. Thank you, Reverend Marilyn, for hanging out with us on Inspired. You've truly been an inspiration to us, and we're so in awe of the wonderful work that A Just Harvest is doing, and we pray God's choicest blessings over you, over Just Harvest, that you can continue doing the work that your soul must have. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you back. In the future, because I want to hear all about when that initiative for Puerto Rico. Listen, now I'm a city girl. I'll do the farm thing, but I'll come to Puerto Rico.
Yes. There has to be a city connection. So
Thank you again. We love you so much, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you, Reverend Sue. Love you back.
Love you.
Blessings.
All right, listen, I am so glad that you have hung out with us on this good Saturday morning to hear from Reverend Marilyn and to learn all about A Just Harvest. I pray that it has blessed you in the way that it has blessed me. I want to remind you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Where we are all over social media, Carrot Solutions LLC on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube. Inspired by Kara on Facebook and on Instagram. And as always, you can head over to our website at www.kara-solutions.com or www.getinspired.live. Listen, I'm trying to get my numbers up. I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. Go ahead and connect and follow and like and subscribe. It don't cost anything for you to be able to do that. And also, if you want to listen later, head on over to Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. We're at Inspired by Kara and all of those platforms. And if you are an entrepreneur, influencer, creative, or other individual on a mission to create change while inspiring others to do the same, we want you to be our guest. If you know someone that'd be a good fit for Inspire, please let us know about them. Visit us at www.getinspired.live to book your appearance today. And we want to make sure that you join us next week. Somebody say next week. Next week, we will have Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, who's a mental purpose discovery coach, author, and TV presenter. And I'm excited to have this conversation with him. So make sure you join us next week, Saturday, November 11th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Inspire. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you guys hung out with us today. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, all of you, for hanging out with us. As always, listen, until we meet again. I was going to say, God be with you until we meet again. But I'm also going to say, until next time, I want you to stay lifted. I want you to stay motivated. But most of all, I want you to stay inspired. I can't wait to see you again next week.